Welcome to the Shellonomics Podcast, your source for pure Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles entertainment, presented by King Midas.
Alrighty guys, episode 2 of Talking Vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Toys. I'm joined by Josh Melchart again. Today we're talking about the basic figures from 1989. So Josh, how you doing tonight, man?
Sick, Mike. How are you?
Oh, fantastic here. We're going to get into some ducks to start off here. We're going to roll with Ace Duck. A lot of people, at least my age, had this figure. Very common, but also was pretty rad. He did make a quick appearance in the cartoon. You know, he had that little spot on the television with the Ace Duck Film Festival, and there he is. Josh has him right there for you. So, Josh, what can you tell us about Ace Duck?
So Ace Duck definitely was in the cartoon for that one episode. He makes that little appearance. He is in the comic a little bit more similar style and everything. Very cool figure. You know, 1989 is a fun year for most people. Again, like I said last time, these are the figures we grew up with. So everybody had these. Everybody had an Ace Duck in their house. So we'll just talk about from the go. Ace Duck came in two variants. It's called Hat On and Hat Off. I'll just show you in the package here because it's easier to explain. If he's wearing the hat on his head, that is called a Hat On Ace Duck. That one will have a hole in his head. Camera doesn't pick that up the greatest, but there's a hole in that head.
Oh, I can see it. You're good. You're good.
If the hat is over here to the side in the bubble tray where there's a hole for the hat, that's called a Hat Off Ace Duck. He does not have a hole in his head. So easy enough to see. Oh, yeah. Hat on, hat off. So when you're talking just regular figures, there's no real hat on and hat off. The only real difference I see between hat on and hat off is when you're talking about a carded pop-up display. Hat Off Ace Duck pop-up display is considered one of the hardest to find 1989 figures there is. So
wow. Okay.
That one ranks in some serious dough. I wouldn't even begin to guess, but you're probably talking 700, probably close to $1,000 for that figure on the card.
Oh, wow. Now, we did this in the last episode, too. I mean, I would think for this, I mean, if there's any rare accessories, Josh, just let the viewers know. But with Ace Duck, at least for me, you want to try and find him with his wings when you're buying him, and the hat. I mean, he comes with a little gun, too, right?
Okay, so you're going to have the wings. Okay. The wings are almost a must-have accessory for him. They're a little bulky when he's wearing them. But, I mean, he's a duck. He needs wings. He looks cool to fly around in his little bomber jacket.
Exactly.
But wings, hat, gun, and 4 egg bombs, and a belt, of course. So none of the accessories are going to be super expensive. The great thing about 1989 is loose. You can get every single one of these figures from somewhere between $15 and $30. You're not going to have to pay anything higher than that for a loose, complete 1989 figure. So that's really nice about this set. Very affordable, very cool, and they're the ones we wanted because, like I said, they're the ones we already had with their kids.
Exactly, and these are just very, very easy to find. And
so, as far as price-wise, you can't really go wrong with 89.
One of my, like I say, these are probably our top 2 favorite years because this is before it got crazy to keep up with everything. It was just a nice, simple.
Before it got weird.
Yeah, exactly. Very weird. Just similar. It's almost like the cartoon because the cartoon had 5 episodes in the pilot. Then in season 2, I want to say there were 12. And then season 3, it just popped off like 45 episodes, just similar to the figures.
You jump up into like crazy numbers. But like we said, it kind of exploded. They didn't expect it to take off like it did. So
yeah. No, 100%.
A lot of the early year stuff was just kind of testing the waters.
Exactly. All right, coming up next. Now, this is a little tricky one here, guys, for your Punk Frog fans here. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get all 4 of them as kids, but we did get this guy. He also appeared in the hockey game, and we might have been in the bowling game, too. So this is Genghis Frog. Now, Josh is going to explain to you guys something that's actually a really cool variant, like accessory that we want some newbies to find out, because again, this is one you might be able to find in an eBay auction where it's like, ooh, that's actually a decent find there. So Josh, yeah, clue us in on that belt here too. Thank you.
Okay, so Genghis Frog, once again, 1989, did have a couple variants. So loose, there's really two variants loose. There's a bunch carded, but there's really two loose. You got gold belt and black belt. So most of your Genghis Frogs are going to be just what's known as a 1989 black belt Genghis Frog. Simply because the belt is black. That's a pretty easy reference. So the black belt Genghis Frog, when you turn him sideways, is going to have these sharp lines between his teeth, and he's going to have what's commonly referred to in the Ninja Turtle collecting world as a mustard yellow shorts. And if you go over to the gold belt Genghis Frog, sorry I have this one graded, so I can't put him in quite the same way I can. But gold belt has much brighter yellow pants, and as you can see on the side of his mouth, those are all white teeth. There's no paint on the outlines of his teeth.
Oh wow!
So that's a pretty easy way to tell which one you have. I want to say there's another variant with the teeth, but I'm not exactly positive on that one. It has showed to me before, but as far as gold belt and black belt, there's a pretty big price difference between the other two. Just the teeth variants, that's more of like a collector's difference. No price difference in variants. So like I said, complete black belt, you're talking $15, $20, maybe $25 if you want a really nice one, like with unbroken weapon sprue. But the gold belt's probably going to cost you 100-ish, maybe on the high end 150 loose.
Okay.
But here's a big tip for the people looking for a gold belt. Gold belt Genghis Frog belts are almost always mistaken with Ace Duck belts because it's very similar of a belt. See, Ace Duck has a gold belt there in the package. It's almost the exact same belt as this black one. But there is a difference between an Ace Duck belt and a Genghis belt. A Genghis belt will only hold a Genghis bomb. I don't have any in this bag, so I can't show you, but the soap can bombs hold nice and tight in a Genghis belt, and in an Ace belt, they'll fall right through. Wow. So also, where the belt attaches, so that little stub right there, on a gold belt, the end of that is flat, almost like a nail head, and on a Ace Duck belt, it is more like a mushroom shaped, or half a cylinder on the end, phallic almost, is how it's described. So, big difference in price there, very collectible, but also, even for a hard-to-find item in the Ninja, still priced pretty reasonable loot. So it's something cool that people can get into their collections. That's a nice little variant.
Yeah. How much does a belt alone go for, Josh? I'm sure, again, you've seen it probably. They just say Genghis gold belt.
That's actually a pretty nice find. Less than months ago, my cousin is kind of new to Ninja Turtle collecting, so if I find a good deal on something, I generally I just snag it up for him and I make him pay me back.
Smart.
So, I found him, it was just a gold belt, but it was the correct gold belt, and it had all 4 bombs with it. I paid $35 plus shipping. I think that's kind of towards the good deal side.
Oh, okay.
35 is probably on the lower end of what you're going to pay for belt, Genghis Frog belt. Anywhere probably $30 to $50 for the belt.
Okay, so that's another good one. Like I say, for beginners, just keep your eyes peeled when you're searching your eBay lots and stuff. You might see that Genghis Frog for $3.99 because the seller doesn't know the value of that gold belt, and voila.
Yeah, because the black belt's like $3, $2. You know what I mean? It's common. So big price difference there.
Yeah.
So Genghis Frog, when you start talking carded versions, you're gonna have those variants. You're gonna have the pop-up display. You're gonna have gold belt on, gold belt off, and that means there's one where he's wearing the gold belt on the card. There's one where the gold belt is in the package, almost like a hat on, hat off ace duck.
Huh.
And then there's bagged grenades and non-bagged grenades. There's even a couple known carded examples of gold belt bagged grenades, which I think there's only like 2 known examples left on one of them. So there's been some super rare variants here in this 1980 line, all the way from the most common, cheapest figures in the line to some of the most expensive.
Wow. And you mentioned Mustard Belly, so don't forget to like and subscribe at Shellonomics, and we're going to plug Josh's feed later because there's another popular character that has a Mustard Belly, and we'll get into that one when his time arrives. But for now, it's time to talk to one of the more beloved characters of all time, none other than Mr. Lawbreaker himself, Casey Jones. Why is he such a popular figure? Because he still goes for a decent buck. It's you never rarely see him in the $2 or $3 bin. He still has some decent value to him for a common figure.
Absolutely. So we got Casey Jones, 1989. So obviously everybody loved him in the cartoon. Everybody. I always loved that one episode of the cartoon, Fly at like Shredder's business, and he's got on the whole suit, but he's still wearing a Casey mask. So he goes in for a job interview with a hockey mask and a suit and tie on. I always thought that was great. But on the figure, you get kind of a weird mix of what the comic book version of Casey Jones was. You got gray sweatpants, which is very 1989, weird blue cutoff muscle shirt, half a shoulder pad, and a hockey mask. Looks like one weight glove, one fist strap, and some green sneakers. But Casey Jones is very cool. Definitely one of the most sought-after figures in the 80s. Everybody wants him. His weapons are very easy to get.
Gotta have his bag. That's the best. That's just such a cool piece.
Yeah, you got the golf bag, a couple golf clubs, and then the golf bag, a couple baseball bats, and golf club. I've mentioned a couple times so far, 89 is the year of the pop-up display. The pop-up display was just a cardboard insert that came with the figures. It just kind of gave the figures a little more play value. The good guys came with the bad guy, and the bad guys came with the good guy. So just a little standee you could fight your good guy against. While we're on Casey Jones still, there is a variant there of weapons accessories. There's been a couple discussions on figure accessory, or figure different colors, sweatpants and stuff. I've never seen anything real definitive on that. They're all close enough to the same color that I've never considered a variant. But the weapons do have like a much brighter green color and then a bluish green color. Once again, no difference in value. You're going to get the same. That's Casey is able to be bought complete for $20 pretty much all day, plus shipping on eBay. If you want to get a super minty one, obviously bump it up $5 or so, but very reasonable priced, everybody's favorite figure. I wish we would have got some sort of movie Casey Jones adaptation that wasn't the Wit one that we saw later down the line, like the 1990 movie, but we didn't. This is the only Casey Jones we received besides the Wit with the catapult from the movie 3. Always surprised me that we didn't get more.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you, Josh, was just your own. I mean, we could still talk about that, but you're right, guys. Yeah, when we get to that, this is being recorded March 2025. I want to make sure I plug that in every single show we do because the market will change just like stocks. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down. But yes, the Wit figure for the third movie, he actually has a Casey Jones mask the character comes with. But yeah, just in your own personal opinion, how did he not get an extra figure? There's so many characters that had, talking turtles, wacky turtles, punk rock. He could have been a cool punk rock figure. So why do you think they shied away and just had one Casey Jones? I don't really call the Wit, like you say, technically it is, but why do you think we only had one Casey Jones in our childhood years?
So I know there was a couple that made it to the conceptualization part and even maybe the hard copy part, if I'm remembering correctly. Definitely a few designs were made. It just seems like they always got passed up on. I'm trying to remember if there wasn't maybe a Wacky Wild West Casey Jones that was proposed. Something like that.
Okay.
When I was doing some research for some help with some guy, I think we came across something like that. And we've seen a couple like alternate head sculpts maybe in the prototype phase and stuff like that, but that's all we ever got. I'm not really sure why it passed up. It sure seems like a missed opportunity to me.
I agree all the way, especially with the popularity of this one. I guarantee the other one would have been just as popular. So
everybody had, a turtle, but everybody had Casey Jones. I mean, everybody.
Yeah, I had him more than he was almost more loved than the Foot Soldier. It's kind of like a discussion there, but a lot of people I know had Casey. So one of the best, I would say. I mean, this is one of my favorite years because there's so many legendary characters. And now we're going to go into Metalhead.
Metalhead, another great figure. 1989. He made some appearances in the cartoon. What was it? Shredder's bad guy that Donnie reprogrammed to be their buddy.
Yeah,
kind of living with him for a little bit. Super cool idea. It's just a Ninja Turtle that's a robot. I mean, that's all it is. Had some cool weapons. He's got a backpack with a cool little sticker on it for targeting the foot soldiers. It's even got the little outline of a foot soldier targeted, I believe. I guess that's what that is the foot soldier. He also came with the little satellite dish and the robo chucks. Let me see if I got my bag down here.
While you're grabbing that, Josh, can we also talk about the eyes? Because some of the figures looks more like a Cyclops from X-Men. The way you look at the angle, sometimes those red eyes can shoot at you a little sharper too.
Absolutely. So the most common way we see this figure is with the red eyes.
Okay.
There is a variant known as the clear eyes variant. You see them, they're not super rare like, hen's teeth or anything, but they're very much more uncommon than the red-eyed version. So, all the ones I have in my back here are going to be the red-eyed version. And there's going to be different, tones of red on the eyes. There's going to be different tones of gold on the belly. Some of them almost look silverish. Some of them show a real nice gold. But just like the 1988 hardhead figure, everybody has to remember that these were made 1990, 1992, 1994, 1995. You know what I mean? All those are same mold, same exact weapons. Once they're out of the package, you're never going to tell them.
Right.
So you do get some slight color variations,
Okay.
but some of it you can call fading, some of it you can call... while we bring that up, let's jump back to Genghis real quick.
Sure.
There's no such thing as a green shirt Genghis Frog. There's no such thing. Let's just put that out there. It's been debunked a million times. It's sun fading. Every 3 or 4 months, I see that pop up in the Facebook groups. I found this figure. I can't find a green variant shirt Genghis Frog. And it's like, that's because you can't find it because it doesn't exist. You just have a sun fade one. And it seems like some people take that news okay, and some people take that news and completely ignore it and just still think they have a one-of-one figure.
Well,
But
good luck selling that on eBay, but yeah, that's for another day.
Absolutely. Just had to remember that because I got to it. So, Metalhead, like I said, great figure. No eye or clear eyes variant's going to be worth quite a pretty penny more. I think
Really?
loose he goes I think for loose, Clear Eyes goes for almost 100, $150, something like that. Not really big into that game. That's down too much. But carded, you're also going to have a couple that kind of draw some more money. So on his card, there's a little yellow burst bubble. They just call it the burst. Some of them have it and some of them don't. Most of them have, like, percent of them. That's the common one. But if it doesn't have that little burst sign, that's much more uncommon and pretty much 10 times the value of a carded figure. And then you're also going to have your pop-up display metalhead. So a couple different carded variants, a couple different loose variants. Very cool figure. Once again, the really cool thing about this one is that his made to pop off, and you could put that Robo Chuck in there. I think a lot of kids ended up breaking him or losing his hand because you see so many of them loose without that hand there.
So, before we get to our next figure, is it possible to spot the eyes in an auction to know you're getting more value, or is that more of a crapshoot? How can you tell for beginners trying to find that value?
If the pictures are taken correctly or well, you can spot it in an auction because most people have a flash on their camera or some lights on their camera, and when you're seeing it, you can see that pink even when the light's not shining through it.
Yeah, I'd see it.
So I can grab a whole handful of these, hold them up there, and you're going to be able to see it on every single one just by me holding it up there. Like I said, maybe not super clear, but just getting a glimpse of it at any angle, and you can see the red. The clear is going to be much harder to spot, but you should almost always be able to spot whether it's a red eye.
Wow.
So, you could see it and say, well, that might be clear, and it's such a common figure that if you bought one just butt naked, it's probably going to be $2, $3 at most. So it's a gamble worth taking if you think you got a clear eyes one out there.
Yeah. So before we get into our next figure, we do try to cover accessories. So besides the Genghis Frog gold belt, for the rest of the figures we haven't talked about in these ones, what's the market value for each accessory? Is it similar to the ones we had in 1988, anywhere between $1 to $5? Nothing really, it's going to break the bank.
So it just depends on what you're talking about. Obviously, Genghis Frog, his little shield is quite common.
Okay.
Stuck around, but the grenades are much more uncommon, so you're going to pay a little bit more. Ace Duck's pistol is very small and it's always lost. Leatherhead's trap is 2 pieces that are both kind of relatively small and get lost.
Oh, wow.
General Trag's knife, just because it's a specific shade of blue and it's small, tends to get lost more than anything else. A lot of General Trags, you'll have 2 guns and no knife.
Oh, okay.
Rat King, the little rat that goes on his bow and arrow, is a little high.
Yeah.
But just like the 88s, you're going to find most of these accessories for under $5. You can find almost every one of these figures loose complete for under $30. Shouldn't have any problem finding them for that. Plus shipping. I always say that.
Yeah.
Shipping one figure, a lot of people don't understand this. It still costs $5 or $6 to ship this figure, like $5.50 to ship it in the United States with tracking.
It's
to ship it in a box with a little bit of protection in a baggie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's going to be our little, if you guys stick around for the end of the video, I'm going to ask Josh 2 things on how he searches for turtles, and actually we're going to talk about that boxing because that's very important. I want to make sure we get back to that at the end. So stick around to the end. But we're going to talk about another figure who's similar to the Foot Soldier last year. This is Usagi Yojimbo, and I want toy collectors to beware because Josh is going to show you here. Usagi's got some stuff on his arms and legs. In my opinion, I'd like to buy the figure with that instead of fishing for those. So, yeah, let's talk about Usagi Yojimbo, another turtle favorite.
So, Usagi Yojimbo, this is another one where there's 2 variants, but this one's so weird that most collectors don't even, call it a variant. But, okay. So, Usagi is an awesome figure. This is one that was came into the Ninja Turtles world through one of the little dimensional portals. So the variant here is gonna be we call them 1 peg and 2 peg armor Usagi.
Oh.
So on his armor, some of them, if you try to lift the very corner right here of his armor, none of the armor will come up because there's 2 pegs holding that armor on, which means there's 2 holes in his arms and legs. But some of the armor is only held on with 1 peg, and that one can come up just a little bit more. Let me see here if I can show that in a better way. Oh, maybe it's 1 leg and then the other. I'm trying to. So he's got all these armor pieces, and they just kind of come off, like you said.
Yeah.
So when you're looking there, you know, you want to get all those pieces. So 2 different variants there. I don't think no difference in price at all, but there is something with Usagi that is kind of strange that a lot of people mix up. So I put 2 of them out here just so I could show that. Usagi came with a fist dagger, just like the 88 Turtles, and Usagi's weapons also came on just like the 88 Turtles. But Usagi's weapons aren't quite the same as an 88 Turtle. So this fist dagger is an 88 Turtle fist dagger. This fist dagger, and I know it looks the exact same, a bit lighter, it's not quite the dark brown, that's an Usagi fist dagger. A lot of times when you see them, and does it make too much of a difference? No, because they're both like $1 a piece. But if you're trying to complete your Usagi and you want it to be the correct one, you definitely want to match the color of that fist dagger up to his weapons. That's how you're going to know you're going to have the.
I appreciate that tip very well. And guys, as you notice, Usagi is white and his ears are going to get quite dirty. So if you guys haven't checked out our first video, Josh has an awesome cleaning tip for you guys on how to get that crud and dirt out of there to get him shiny just like a brand new car.
Absolutely. And it seems like the most commonly broke part on Usagi, he's always missing his money. Broke off right at the little top knot area. I find that odd because I never broke that as a kid, but I've seen tons of them like that.
You know what? We're going to say it's the kids who enjoy the 3rd Turtle movie when Leonardo does that to Lord Norinaga. There, short enough for you? Yeah. That's where that came from. They just ripped his ears off because they couldn't do that to Lord Norinaga's figure. All right, guys, we're going to get a little education here on Krang because Krang comes in different colors here. So we want to show you guys Bubble Walker Krang, which came out in '89, but there's another Krang that comes out later, and Josh is going to explain which Krang you want to get for your '89 figure.
So Bubble Walker Krang, this one is really cool because this is how Krang first shows up in the cartoon. Krang didn't have his android body. Shredder had to build it for him once it came here from Dimension X or whatever. Powered up. I can't remember exactly how that went. But in the cartoon, he walked around in this goofy little walker thing. So they came out with him in '89. The '89 Krang is what's known as the Blue Veins Krang. You can see right there, the top of that Krang has blue veins in it. The one that came with the large android later, which I don't have on me tonight, I got it out in the shop, is all pink. But so that's an easy way. It's a much more valuable. Pink one sells for $20, where this one sells for $6 or $7. The most expensive part of Krang's walker, bubble right here. The reason being for that is it has these 2 tiny tabs on the back. They always break, and then you don't have the bubble for his walker.
Oof. And those arms are kind of tricky to keep in place too, Josh. Mine fall off a lot. The arms on the side of them. Those
the walker arms.
Yeah, those are tough to keep in place.
They're just kind of chintzy. None of them stay on great, but there are actually, I believe, like maybe 2 different kinds of armhole there. They might have changed more along. And one of them does stay on a lot better. So you might want to look for that one if you keep having trouble. But he came with the brain scrambler little ray gun thing, which I always thought was a cool weapon because it kind of hooked right onto the good guy's head, and you could just suck his brain juice right out of him.
Is that what I figured? Is that what that piece is actually called too? Is it called the Brain Scrambler?
Well, the
If
piece
not,
of the Technical is definitely called the brain scrambler. I'm not.
Okay, I like the name. If it wasn't, I like the name. I like that name. So
I think that's what's coming to my brain. So,
okay.
and then he had a little gray hose. So the gray hose for Krang has this little V-like protrusion on the end, almost conical. The ones for Scumbug aren't like that. They're rounded. A lot of people confuse Scumbug and Krang hoses. That's how you tell the difference. And then he also came with, like Mikey said, these goofy little arms that hook onto the side of the robot or of the bubble walker, and they like to fall off.
Yeah, which is nuts. I mean,
so I got mine on pretty good, but one was really easy and one was really difficult.
Just don't do like you did in the last video. You knock them back and forth. That like play Rock'em Sock'em Robots. That'll fall off right away.
So the big thing that people are looking for when they're buying this figure is a clear dome on this bubble walker. So any dome is great, but they're very hard to find with a nice clear dome. So we want to, when we're looking for them, if we can find that, that's a big bonus because you can see them in the package with just a goofy, smudged up looking, scratched up looking dome. So always want to try to avoid that.
Yeah, and we're going to get to this guy years from on a couple episodes. But another question is, I mean, Giant Android Krang was really cool. My cousin had that one growing up. Why do you think it took Playmates so long to get us an Android Krang for like the little guy? He didn't come out to what, 93 or 94? I wonder, do you have any idea why that took so long?
You're talking about the 4-inch Android?
Yeah, which I like that one, but
that one's cool. I'm not really sure why it pushed so long to come out, but you got to remember that after so I think 92 is considered the biggest year for Ninja Turtle sales.
Oh.
But then that's where we went, 88 we went up, 89 we went up, 90 we went up, 91 we went up, 92 we hit our pinnacle, like the top end of our sales. And every year after that, the Ninja Turtles slowly declined.
Oh,
okay. So that's why we stopped seeing, new release figures. Scratch and Hotspot in 93. Krang's Android was a new release figure in 94.
Yeah.
We see Shogun Shoite in 94. But other than that, we don't get any new release in the act. We get different versions of the same characters. We get a different suit, or April in a different suit, or whatever. Bebop in a different disguise, or whatever the case may be. But as far as new characters, we really stop seeing new characters as we get past that 1992 mark.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I never knew. I can't wait to talk 92 then. When we get to that one, that's going to be a nice, that'll be like the pinnacle, I guess, so to speak.
Absolutely. That's the big year. That's when everything came out.
Now, here's an interesting one here, too, is thanks to NECA, I guess, I don't know if they have one or not. I guess you'll have to hopefully fill that in for me. But Baxter Stockman, now, we never got his human form. Did NECA ever create a human Baxter Stockman toy? Do you know?
I believe so. Yeah, just in the last couple of years, they.
Yeah, because we didn't get one as a kid. This is the one that we all remember with the fly swatter. And again, you need those wings in the back. And yeah, you can see again, most people are going to look on eBay and you're going to think you have your Baxter complete. Thank you, Josh, for showing us that. He comes with some wings, some I don't know, like arm claws. I don't know what those are called, but he's got a lot of pieces here.
Yeah, those are like his little fly arms.
There you go, fly arms. There you go.
I don't know what you want to call them either. They're kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly.
But let me open the bag here. Baxter came with the wings, obviously. And then he came with his fly swatter.
Yep.
That's got the smashed little turtle on the end of it. And then the handle to his fly swatter. So if you take that, bickety boom. You put the fly swatter in the handle, and then he just kind of goes over like an arm control. So there's two different variants on Baxter. There's going to be Rose Swatter, which rose is just rose red, is why they call it. It's not really rose red, but it's just always been called rose swatter, and then blue swatter. So if this handle is blue, the swatter needs to be reddish. And if the swatter is blue, the handle needs to be reddish. That's how they were released. I see a lot of collectors, they get this red colored swatter and they want the red colored handle to go with it, and it just was never released like that. Yeah, sure, it looks a little better, I guess, but it just was never released that way.
Okay, interesting. And it's
Baxter's a very cool figure. Another one of these ones that has all the white on him. So you tend to see a lot of pit stained Baxters, a lot of yellow Baxters. So if you're a minty collector, you want to make sure you're looking at a nice white one.
Yeah, exactly. And then just another cool thing, I'm glad you had them on display, because I don't I may have one still upstairs in my shoe box, but I don't know if I have all the wing spots. I'm gonna have to maybe talk to you or do a little. I got the fly spots, but I don't remember if I have those cloth things. But coming up next is one of my other favorites. Man, just talking about this year is making me want to go play some games on Twitch after this with Metalhead, Turtles and Time Boss. We had Baxter, Stockman, Krang, and now we get to one of my other favorites, Leatherhead. So let's talk a little about Leatherhead. He's got a cool gun. I always loved I just love the design of this figure because he stands out. He's so unique compared to the other figures here.
So absolutely. So Leatherhead's the only figure that doesn't stand upright.
Yes.
Weird squatting posture. Much like he is, you know what I mean? He's reptilian, so he stays down low to the ground. I always thought it was kind of weird when I was a kid. I didn't like him, to be honest.
Okay. I love the chomp. I love the chomp. That's the best part. You just get the chomp away.
As an adult, I like him a lot because he's got the head action.
Exactly.
His belt has a lot of really cool little things in it that I never really paid attention to as a kid. He comes with a shotgun and a bear trap with they come in the color red, once again, very common accessory. Another one that's very broke, top of his head is always missing. Quick variant, you got gray knee pad, kind of looks white in that picture because of my camera reflection, and this one is blue knee pad. Definitely doesn't look as white as the other one. It's just a little bit lighter blue than his jeans. That's the only variant on this one that I know. But
so
very cool figure. Definitely, like you said, underrated. Just because it's the only figure that has that different stance. He's not just an upright figure.
Well, really quick, Josh, I don't want to cut you off, but just we mentioned variants, with Baxter and Leatherhead. Is there any value in those? You talked about Metalhead's variant being a little good. Is there any big prices with those knee pads, and also with Baxter's with the rose weapons?
No, there's not going to be any real price difference. Like I said, either variant, 15 to 25, $30. That's all you're going to have to pay.
Okay. That's good to know.
$30, for $30, you better be getting a nice minty figure.
Yeah, I would say so. This one's going to be a little trickier. The Rat King with all his little rat pieces that comes with. He had a lot of friends. It's really, I think Rat King is one of the more valuable figures just with all his little accessories you get. He's got some cool weapons too.
So Rat King, here he is. I mean, the figure, he kind of looks like, a meth head that's going to act Subway. So they didn't really do him justice. I mean, I think he could have been done much better, but I still think the figure is very cool. So he gets this little crossbow that's got a rat on it. The rat comes off, if I can get mine off without breaking it.
Oh, wow. I didn't know he comes off, actually.
Absolutely. Oh, I just threw it. So the rat comes off. There you go. Got it off. And then you see a lot of the crossbows out there with just missing the rat like that with that little square hole in it. That means the rat used to go there. You also see these little strings here. Those are almost always broken. So when you're looking at a Rat King, you want to make sure you look at the accessories and get them right. Rat King, cool story about the Rat King. On the Ninja Turtles toys, every single character is given a denomination between the Foot Clan or the Ninja Turtles team, besides the Rat King. The Rat King does not fight for Shredder. He doesn't fight for Krang. He doesn't fight for Shredder. The Rat King fights for himself and his rats, and that's it. I think he's actually more considered an anti. I'm not really sure how that goes, but there is definitely a definition of that somewhere in the comic book world. But cool figure. Like I said, he kind of got done wrong. He's got this cool rat on his shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
The problem with that is that one's a separate mold. Now, it's attached to the figure, but it can be broken off. So if you're looking for a complete Rat King, you want to make sure he's got that rat on his shoulder. I may have one in here without the rat on his shoulder.
Another valuable tip there for rookies or people like myself who forgot about that notion. So appreciate that feedback there. He's also in a lot of cool episodes, man. You remember the one he had with Leatherhead where they actually squared off? That's another one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
You got that one. You got, then he teams up with Leatherhead. He actually, if you go all the way to the Red Sky, he actually appears in season 8, and he teams up with Shredder really quick. And I don't know, you may not remember that episode where he has the gigantic rats. The Wrath of the Rat King. That's a good episode to watch if you own the original cartoon, the full collection. That's probably the best episode you're going to get out of the seasons 8, 9, and 10. Because Splinter delivers the best line.
Where it got a little weird.
Yeah, but that one is pretty cool because what they do is Rat King's kicking their ass. He looks a little cool. He's got like a hat, like a Zorro type hat in the episode, and he's got giant rats. So if you get time later this month, I really recommend checking that one out. But really appreciate all those rat tips for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got our last guy here on this episode, guys. If in future episodes, we'll talk about the wacky action figures. If you guys are enjoying this on Spotify or YouTube, again, please leave a comment down below. Josh and I love doing these episodes. If you want us to dig a little deeper in regards to vehicles, like we didn't talk about the sewer tubes, we didn't talk about the cheapskate, the turtle trooper, but if you guys want us to, let us know. Right now, our mission is to kind of go through every year and talk about the basic assortments. So let's go with General Trag, another awesome dude. I love this figure.
General Trag, the rock soldier from Dimension X. Very cool figure. This is one of the figures because there was rock soldier armies in the cartoon. These guys were in my favorite episode. This one is not cartoon accurate. I don't know why they did that again.
Is there like a bug on him too or something, right? That always threw me off.
Yeah,
like
there's
a
all
spider
kinds of
or
weird
something.
shit going on with him. He's got a snake on his leg, which doesn't make any sense. He's got a spider on his arm. Once again, doesn't make any sense. He's got some kind of weird crab scorpion thing there on his shoulder. Not sure what that is. Lots of odd things going on in this figure. Spider web in his back, a lizard on his back. But like I said, a lot of people like to army build this one. These are the guys who chased after the neutrinos in High Rise Teenagers. They helped Krang. They were Krang's army in Dimension X. That's what he commands. So very cool figure. There's been a couple debates on whether there's a variant. I've seen a couple different debates on this little badge here on his chest. It's almost like a little lightning bolt, yellow squiggly.
Yeah.
I kind of take that more up as a factory paint difference. It's such a small little thing that they painted there. It's a black circle with a yellow thing that I think it just kind of changed over time with different shifts making it. Maybe a different guy was spraying it different. I don't know. But I don't actually really see enough there to call it a true variant. So I just say this one has one. He comes with 2 laser cannons and a Bowie knife. That's the exact same mold as Foot Soldier and Bebop. The only difference is General Trag's weapons all have that blue hue to them, so his knife also has that blue color to it. A lot of people end up selling him with like a Foot Soldier or a Rocksteady knife just because they didn't look close enough to see if the colors matched up.
So I'm just going to ask you this on your opinion too. We've talked about, why Casey Jones didn't get another figure. Why did Granitor not get a figure in all the years? Just because he was in the one episode, we never saw him again? He was only in that
Lost.
one episode. He was in the
They
video
were
games.
too busy making weird Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
That we didn't need. We didn't need World War II Bebop or Rocksteady. Nobody needed that in their lives.
No,
We
well,
didn't need Native American Leo. Nothing against Native Americans. We just didn't need a Native American.
No, there's a lot of weird.
Everybody would have much rather had like some new character from the comic.
Yeah, same thing with the head droppers.
That they never touched.
Yeah, the head droppers. We're going to get into a lot of those figures as we go on. But Josh, before we let you go, we start bringing this in for landing. Can you please plug us again, your Facebook feed, and where people can find you to get some more education on Turtle Toys?
On Facebook, I'm Josh Melchart, TMNT. On eBay, I'm Guide. On Facebook in general, I'm just Josh Melchart. I'm a regular person. I answer Ninja Turtle questions all the time, so your one more question's not going to kill me. I generally answer people. Sometimes I guess it goes to my other file, and I have seen messages that I didn't see for a year and a half, but generally I answer people pretty quickly, so hit me up.
All right, so 2 quick questions for you. Now, this is just for beginners, or I guess actually anybody. When it comes to selling toys, I learned from you guys and a couple others, when you're selling a toy, like you brought up earlier, why is it so important? Again, this is just, somebody who's brand new. They kind of do it, I don't want to say half-assed because they don't know any better. It's like a kid sometimes when they're playing with something they shouldn't be. So when you're selling a figure, how important is it to either at least have some bubble wrap or at least ship it in a box instead of using like a little dollar envelope that's going to bend? You know what I'm saying? So can you just
Absolutely.
let us know how you ship out every figure that you sell on eBay?
Absolutely. So
Like the do's and
I
don'ts?
try to ship every figure in a box. I'll ship accessories in a bubble mailer. But
Okay.
if you buy a figure from me online, I ship it in a box. I buy in bulk on eBay. You can get 5x3 by, I think it's 5x2x3 boxes that you just fold up. You get them in stacks of 100. I think I pay 50 cents a box. I just charge that in shipping to my customers. If shipping costs me $50, I charge them $6 for shipping, just so I can make sure that figure's in a box. And the big thing there is I want to make sure that the figure that I sell receives in the exact same condition that they saw it in on my eBay page. That's how you keep 100% feedback. That's how you keep all your customer base happy. You also want to do something to fill the voids. I personally have found the best option, being that I don't live in any kind of city, is just packing paper from Walmart. You can buy a big, huge pack of it for like $10. It lasts me a few months. I think half a sheet of packing paper in that file fills all the voids. I also make sure that every figure I ship is tagged with this web, just to keep things together and make sure nothing leaks out of the box or out of the bubble envelope. So those are very small tips that will go a long way if you want to be a reseller. If you're just shipping in bubble envelopes, you're going to make a lot of it on Facebook or eBay.
Yeah, and one other note in regards to selling. So, because this is a mistake too, I would say, is you got that rare piece that goes for anywhere, I would say, between, let's say, $100 and up. So how important is it to ensure you have insurance on these? Because we've done a lot of transactions. I've had a couple that I've gotten screwed on where I've gotten them lost. One guy I did a deal with, thank God we had insurance on there, because then I at least got reimbursed from my purchase. But how important is it for you to make sure you have insurance on those high pieces?
Okay. So I deal strictly with the United States Postal Service. I don't have a FedEx location, UPS location. At least not one with a real person I can talk about boxes, but I ain't doing that. I just use the regular old Postal Service. So the kind of thing that changed recently is the Ground Advantage in the last year or so, and with that change, every package you send Ground Advantage has a free $150 of insurance, just for Ground Advantage, which is the way you ship, because that's how you get tracking. That's another important thing. Always ship with tracking. Don't ever ship it. Doesn't matter what it is. Don't ship it without tracking. It's a way to cover your ass. If you ship it without tracking, all they have to say is a refund on eBay. And eBay's going to side with them because you didn't provide tracking. Anything over 150, I generally insure it. It costs $1 per $100 of insurance. So for another $1,000 of insurance, which there's plenty of Ninja Turtles figures worth more than $1,000, it's only gonna cost you $10. Now, if you're shipping worldwide, insurance gets a little crazier. I think I just put $1,200 insurance on a package to Australia Saturday, and it cost me. It was $40 for shipping and then $74 for the insurance. So a little higher on the international stuff. Yeah. But when you're selling a big ticket item like that, why would you ever ship it without some sort of, guarantee? We've all seen bad postal workers who kick packages, throw packages, smush packages.
Yep.
There's great postal workers too, but in every job in the world, there's shitty workers.
Yep.
So, why not just for the extra $3 to get $300 in? I call that peace of mind insurance. I know that doesn't matter what they do with that package. I'm covered. My buyer's covered. I don't have to worry about it. Now, I will say that making an insurance claim through the Postal Service sucks in every way. They make it the biggest pain in the ass on the planet. You will jump through hoop after hoop after hoop. But if you buy the insurance and you jump through their little hoops and you do the process that they tell you to do, you will get your money back.
Yep. No, it took me a while, but yeah, under investigation. And another one I do want to add too, I'm going to chime in with Josh also, is if you do get the tracking, if you have the few seconds to spare, as long as the postal line is not crowded, some postal offices now, you can actually get your own scanned receipt, but I highly recommend getting scanned receipts as well, just so you have more clarification and confirmation the post office received that. Because for me, once I shipped something out and they told me, oh, you didn't get it scanned. I'm like, well, no, I dropped it off. I have the label on here. Oh, well, it's harder for us to track because of the scan receipt. Because like you say, some people are negligent. They don't scan it. They just F it, just throw it in there. One other question with the selling number. I'll bring this in for a landing with one other one after this. But so to maintain your professionalism, have you ever had anybody try to pull a fast one on you in regards to, let's just say if you guys, this is being recorded in mid to early March. Josh right now on his eBay channel has a nice undercover turtle. So has somebody ever tried to pull a fast one saying, hey, I bid it on undercover Raphael, but just sent me the cheap 1990 undercover Donatello. Has anybody ever tried anything like that on you before? Any funny stories? Because you've been in this business a long time with a lot of transactions.
Believe it or not, I've never had any trouble with Ninja. The only time is when I tried to get outside of Ninja. Like when I try to sell some house, I have had horrendous problems with toys and stuff from the 50s, like tin toys and stuff. I had a lady, my biggest thing is, if you're selling on eBay, take plenty of pictures. More pictures than you think you should, from more angles than you think you should. And then, if somebody says you sent them the wrong thing, say, I will refund you, but you're going to have to ship me the figure first. This is how I take care of it. I will give you a refund, but you are not getting a refund until I get my figure, the exact one pictured, sent back to me from your house. So if you say I pulled a fast one on you and switched you out, you're going to have to prove it. I'm going to have a shipping receipt with my tracking. It's going to have the weight of the package that I shipped you. I already know the weight of the boxes I use because I use the same boxes every time. I order them 100 at a time. I already know how much packing material I use. So, like I said, there's ways to cover your own ass. And the biggest ones are always get tracking, always ship with, everybody says you save money with this, save money with that. And I totally get it. People save money with pirate ship or whatever it is. But you have to understand that pirate ship just uses the United States Postal Service. Okay? They have a deal because they have some kind of bulk thing there. They get you a better rate. Okay. but your package is still going through the postal service. Nobody special is delivering your package just because you pirate ship. So you have to realize that the human error is always going to be involved. Cover all your bases, but you can. The big thing is if you can print a shipping label and never ship it, and still put in a tracking number. So when you're watching it, you want to make sure it has that initial scan, like you said, because that means the person actually gave it to a postal employee, they scanned it, and now have it in their possession. Anybody in the world can get on eBay and hit print a label. I don't even think you have to have a printer to hit print a label.
Yeah, no, and that's what exactly. It's just it's funny how some people are on that. So, Josh, it's been great. Last question for you is: can you share any of your secrets when it comes to searching for Ninja Turtles? How you are as a buyer on eBay or Facebook Marketplace? Either one. If you got any info you can share with us.
eBay's my big one because that's where I do, like I said, 90% of my buying, my selling is done on eBay. I buy on eBay and then I sell the exact same shit I bought on eBay, just differently, and with better descriptions than after I clean it and pair it up with accessories. But the big thing is eBay allows you to search to watch 200 items at a time. I don't know how many people know that, but mine's maxed out constantly. You want to have a good search, a search that will touch all the bases. And you also need to know how to narrow your search or categorize your search. So when I'm looking for Ninja Turtles, my number one search is the search I always, it's just TMNT, because that's a very common abbreviation people use for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. TMNT, and then I actually type it out. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's my exact search. That's the only one I do. But I do that and I refine it all the way. All categories, all conditions, all sales, buy and now, auction. I want to see it. And then I'm going to newly listed and I just scroll until I've seen something I've seen before. I probably do that just out of habit. I don't buy a lot these days. I do buy and sell a lot, but not as much as I used to.
Sure.
I probably do that 15 times a day, every single day. It's one of the first things I do when I wake up. But I'm a huge Ninja Turtle nerd. Like I said, there's different types of collecting, and I'm more like the obsessive compulsive ADD collector.
Well, I guess real quick then too is, so you're doing the newly listed. I would say now, if you see that buy it now, you kind of, and you're foaming at the mouth, like, do you get it right away? Absolutely. Or do you try to play with that, buy it now or best offer BS? Like, do you ever try?
Here's what you want to do. So a lot of people mess this up, but so you see a buy it now offer and you think, well, that seems like a reasonable. So say I see this general trag right here, and I know because I've sold probably 30 of these in the last couple of years, that complete with all his weapons, this figure doesn't sell for much for the 1989 figures. This is about a $13 to $15 figure. But the reason I know that is because I've sold so many. But if I didn't know that, and I saw one of these online for, say, buy it now, what I'm going to do before I buy it, I'm going to eBay, I'm searching 1989 General Trag complete. And then I'm going to go to sold listings. And it automatically will put you here, but you want most recent. Because that means that's the ones that have sold the most recently. And then they're going to show up in green. If it shows up in green, that means somebody actually paid the seller that amount for the figure. So if you go to sold listings, you're going to see exactly what I said. That this figure sells for 13, 15, 16 bucks complete all day, every day. Doesn't sell for a lot more than that. Really nice, it gets to 20 bucks. So I'm not going to hit the buy it now on that third. If the seller is buy it now or best offer, maybe I shoot him that offer. I say, hey, I'm looking around. I'm seeing him sell for between 15 and 20 bucks. Yours does look on the nicer side. I have an offer of $20. What do you think? As a seller, a lot of times, if it's as long as it's a reasonable offer, I generally just hit yes to move it. The biggest thing in selling on eBay is to constantly be, even if you may break even on that item, you moved on from it and you now have money to buy more.
Very good point, Josh.
Make your initial money. You might make $40-$50 on a couple figures. The rest of the figures don't have to make you a lot of. The big thing is pricing them reasonably enough that you're going to be able to sell them.
That's a good point. And if you guys want to comment down below, maybe we'll just do a whole eBay, because again, we can go on a lot more tips there. Josh, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for giving us your gift of Ninja Turtle vintage collection knowledge, and look forward to doing 1990 next, brother.
Absolutely. Mikey, you have a great night. Ninja Turtle people, enjoy, and remember, collect them all.